Are we live?
On the air, we're live.
Woo! Let's make some noise. Yeah, what's up? All right. Thank you for tuning in and joining us for Funky Friday open mic here at LA School of Comedy, 10835 Santa Monica Boulevard. My name is Billy Ramirez, your host for the evening. And over on the ones and twos, Aaron McIntyre. Let's give it up for Aaron McIntyre. So right before the show, we were talking about shows, and because there's some good shows out. Like, for example, I'm watching this one called The Studio, starring Seth Rogen. And quick aside, I'm not sure if billboards work on me, because for weeks I walked past the billboard for The Studio, and not once did I consider watching the show. And then one day Aaron was basically like, oh, you should check out The Studio. And now I'm fully caught up. But actually, that's not true. Billboards and advertisements do work on me, because I saw one recently that I think might have changed my life, or potentially ended it already. All it said was, one line, one pill, fentanyl kills. And immediately I threw up the devil horns, because that sounded so freaking awesome. Like, it sounded like, a band called Fentanyl just released their new album, one line, one pill, As soon as I saw that, an AC/DC song started playing in my head, like, one line, one pill, dee-doo-dee-doo-dee-doo-doo, fentanyl kills, If you suddenly don't hear from me, it's because of that ad. It just sounds really awesome. It's just like, one line, one pill, dee-doo-dee-doo-dee-doo-doo, fentanyl, but... I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Maybe at some point, whoever created that ad is going to have a situation on their hands and just like, oh, man, we lost another one. Like, man, I'm sorry. I tried to make it sound educational, but it ended up sounding freaking awesome. I'm just, but back to The Studio. Not a spoiler alert, but the first episode of The Studio revolves around the intellectual property of Kool-Aid and two competing movies being made. One, a family Kool-Aid movie. And the other, a Kool-Aid movie that takes place in Jonestown. When all those people drank the Kool-Aid and died. And then, so after watching this episode, in addition to all those people that died at Jonestown, I also feel bad for the people at Flavor Aid, because it wasn't Kool-Aid. It was Flavor Aid. If you go back and read, if you want some nice light reading before bed, you want to just dig up the Jonestown Massacre Wikipedia article, you'll find that the main culprit was grape Flavor Aid. Actually, no. Let me be clear. The main culprit was cyanide and tranquilizers, but they were mixed with grape Flavor Aid. And those poor bastards, they haven't been able to get respect. And I should figure out a better way to word this, but, maybe the worst of all is that they can't take credit for it, It's like, I'm hoping that maybe the CEO of Flavor Aid watches that episode and finally has enough and puts together a testy press conference, just like enough is enough. We had Flavor Aid. We demand respect. For 45 years, we've had to watch Kool-Aid just soar to new heights. And even though people think that they poison people, and meanwhile, here at Flavor Aid, we're losing our asses trying to sell this crap. And, enough is enough. Today, we demand respect. People need to forget about Kool-Aid, because it wasn't them. It wasn't Kool-Aid. It was Flavor Aid. It was Flavor Aid that killed all those people. Actually, what I should have said was, please drink Flavor Aid. It's to die for. But speaking of dying, you can always count on this next comedian to absolutely kill and murder, because he's the one and only Alan, the number muncher, Weiss.
Yay, thank you. My name is Alan Weiss, thank you. Before I get started, I'm going to be doing some old stuff just because I need to get it on video, so bear with me, okay? My name is Alan Weiss, thank you. I'm awkward. When I go to the gym, there's always those guys there who have muscle dysmorphia, and I want to help them out. So to do that, I stand next to them to make them look bigger, except in the shower, because then they would look smaller. I'd look smaller. Wait, which one is it? I'm a nerd, obviously. I'm a CPA and a CFA charter member, which means I'm a super nerd. However, I'm the worst nerd ever. I've never read a comic book. I don't program HTML, and I've never been laid off. That one. Okay, I've seen Star Wars, but I've never masturbated to it. But if I was to a fantasy, it'd be to Microsoft Excel, because I just wanted to get a girl into my sheets. I was asked once, are you really an accountant? Why would I lie about that? I'm also a dyslexic accountant, which is weird to be that mix because I might make a mistake and get into trouble. But don't worry, I looked it up. It's not fraud unless there's intent. My mom in college, she asked me, hey, what are your roommates' last names? And I didn't know my roommates' last names. I lived with them for a whole year. So I was like, I better find out. So I went up to my roommate, Johnny. I was like, hey, Johnny, what's your last name? And he looked at me really hard. He's like, Alan, my name is Donnie. Johnny's our neighbor. And the thing is, like with dyslexia, you do switch people's names, which is really hard, especially at work, when you keep calling your boss Rick, Dick. I didn't call him Dick. I called him Dad. I'm awkward. So I take things really literal, and so like this homeless guy came up to me and he's like, hey, any change? I said, no, you look the same. I decided to change, so I got a new car. I had a 17-year-old rust bucket on wheels. And so I went to the dealership, and I said, I want a Porsche, because I wanted something nice after 17 years. And he looked me up and down. He's like, no, 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 no. What you want is a Prius. No self-respecting guy wants a Prius. That's like going up to your spouse and saying, I want sex. And she goes, no, 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 no. What you want is to watch. I tried dating. It's hard. I don't pick up signals. I don't know when a girl's into me. So ladies, when you're at a bar and you're staring at me wondering why I haven't come over, just note, I won the staring contest. I did get a date. I got a date once, a first date. Well, not mine, my friend's. It was my friend, his date, and me at the table. And then he got up and left. So I just slid right over, and I was like, hi, Lauren. My name is Alan. I'll be taking over Steve while he's on break. It was going great. And we started talking about grandparents. I was like, oh, my grandfather survived the Holocaust. And she's like, no way, mine did too. I was like, you're Jewish. She's like, no, he's a Nazi. Not the same thing. Followed by really awkward silence and great sex for her and Steve. I watched Star Wars. Steve was my ride. So I am awkward, and with all this, and I realized, I found out that I'm on the spectrum. And the thing is, being on the spectrum, people say you don't look like you're on this autistic, which is a huge issue and a big problem when I bite them. Okay, so we're gonna end there. So I have a clean cut clap. Okay, so thank you. So now I'm gonna do some new stuff. Thank you for listening to my old stuff. I appreciate it. So I went to a singles mixer for Jews, for Jewish people, right? Because I'm Jewish, and this lady who was not Jewish came up to me, and her line was, "You look like a horny Jew." I was like, wow. I got those removed. Okay. I'm gonna have to read this a little bit. These I literally wrote like today, this week. Okay. I have a lot of anxiety. I suffer from anxiety. And anxiety sucks. It sucks. And it's not the same for everyone. But for me, it's like that basketball taunt in your head. You know, that one that goes, "You suck. You're too short to play. This is miniature golf. It's to me, I always like if I didn't have anxiety, I'd take real risks, like skydiving, or racing cars, or putting it all in black. Or I'd take hobby risks, like I'd paint nudes, or I would lift without a spotter, or I'd not check the chicken when if it hit 65 degrees. That's a risk. Living on the edge, salmonella. Sometimes anxiety in my head is like my Jewish mom. She's always going, why? Like when I'm trying to join a team, she's like, why try? You're not athletic. You'll never make the team. I'm like, Mom, I will make the team. This is Madden on Xbox. So stupid. Okay, hold on. Where's the next page? Can't get the next page. Okay. I deal with my anxiety I look like an evil villain when I have that release. I'm like, tariffs. But if I was a real villain, evil villain, it'd be more like, I hacked Excel and took away everybody's mouse. If you've ever used Excel, you'll understand. Anxiety, I found anxiety sneaks up on you. It stays hidden for years, and then bam, it's like that evil angel on your shoulder. It's like quit, do something fun, like go to Home Depot and mix up all the lug nuts. And you're there, and you're watching everybody, and this guy is like, this is not a 3/4 inch. This is a 1/2 inch. I'm like, well, I don't know. It's Home Depot. That's how it is. I get my anxiety from my mom. She's so good with the Jewish guilt. I invited her to my new house, and she goes, I wouldn't buy this house. Why did you buy this house? You should have asked me first. I'm like, Mom, what the hell? And she's like, you're being selfish. Where else you have no storage here. Where else am I going to store my snow globes? I'm managing it now. I thank you for the light. It's like 2 minutes, right?
Yeah, 2 minutes.
I'm managing it now. I read a book called Unwinding Anxiety. And it said, just be curious of how anxiety feels. So I tried it. So I was like, I tried it with my girlfriend. I was like, for some moral support. I was like, it feels kind of rough. It feels kind of tense. It feels like you need a mammogram. I said these are new. It's okay. I worked meditation. What worked was meditation. My therapist was right. I am now only anxious 23 hours of the day. Anxiety. There's more anxiety. It just keeps going. Okay, anxiety holds me back. It holds me back, and if I didn't have it, I'd go up to cute girls and say hi, and not worry about becoming their shrink. I am not a people pleaser. I'm the why does it have to be perfect pleaser. I was raised by type A yellers, the ones that keep you constantly on your toes. Clean your room. Make your bed. So now I have a maid. So stupid, these jokes. Okay. Thank you very much. My name is Alan Weiss. You can find me on Instagram at Alan W. Weiss. Thank you for laughing and listening. And now your host of the most, Billy Ramirez. Woo!
Let's give it up once again for Alan, the number muncher, Weiss. Yeah, woo. All right. What's up? Let's see. I've worn glasses pretty much my entire life, since the early 90s. So yeah, I've always been a dork, basically. But I'm glad that how there was a fad where people wore these giant glasses. Like I think the fad's ending. I'm hoping, because I always felt that this giant glasses fad was a personal insult to me specifically. And I'll tell you why. Because nowadays people can get any frames they want from Warby Parker, go to the mall, get them in an hour. But instead, to be stylish, people would rather wear the glasses that poor kids had to wear in the early 90s. And I should know because I was one. Okay. Like every year, I'd go to the optometrist with my mom, full of hope, which was my first mistake. Don't have hope. Hope is the worst. And then I look at the floor-to-ceiling wall displays of frames, and it was the early 90s, and it was a lot of cool colors and shapes and neon. And, oh, surely I won't look like a dork in those. And then, but no, I'd always get led to another desk, and then the optometrist would reach under this desk and pull out a dusty box of the ugliest frames you could ever imagine. It looked like a lost and found box, and that's what I had to choose my glasses, from. It's like there's a jacket in here and half an apple. What's going on? And but I called it. It kind of looked like a lost and found box of the ugliest glasses, but no, really looked more like a found and lost box. Like found a box full of the ugliest glasses you've ever seen, and lost your chances of making friends in the school year. So yeah. Anyways, but speaking of the early '90s, this next comedian played bass on the first 3 Blues Travelers album. Please give it up for Will Cable.
Saying that because I was actually feeling pretty good about myself till Alan drove anxiety into my head. You have anxiety, right? All right, I didn't pick up on that. No, I was on my way in here tonight, and somebody goes, "Oh my God, Tony Hawk does stand up." I was just like, "Oh, all right." And somebody next to him goes, "No, that's Johnny Lawrence from Karate Kid or Cobra Kai." I'm like, what the fuck, guys? Somebody goes, no. This guy is Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. I can deal with the first 2, but that last one, man, at 53 is just awful. And it gets to my kid because he is a little different from me, not the Shaggy type. Straight A student, varsity athlete, such a disappointment. I mean, is this kid going to learn how to party or what? I mean, I did at that age. He, what was he, 7, I think? He's always been a baseball athlete. At 7, he hit the game-winning run. And, we're in the car, and he goes, "Dad, you have no idea what it's like to be as good as me." I was like, no, son, that's not nice to say. Keep pushing the car. We're almost to the gas station. Oh, man. So, we're trapped in this house with this kid, this I don't know, teenager that he just comes home from baseball, pushes by me, goes in his room and slams the door. And I can hear him in there berating his friends on Xbox, flexing in the mirror. I don't even know what that sounds like, but I know that's going on. Doing whatever a teenage narcissist does. But I'm like, screw it. We got to get out of the house, to my wife. So we're going to go out to a concert, and he had already pushed his way by us, and I was getting ready to go knock on his door, and I did. No answer. So I'm like, fuck it. Let's just go out. So my wife and I get out, and we get to the Hollywood Bowl. And first thing we see is this guy with dreadlocks. I guess it's called a Wookiee or something. A white guy with dreadlocks says, "Do you need any shrooms, Molly, or doses?" And we were like, whoa, buddy. We're parents. We don't get out much, so give us all 3. For $75 later, I'm feeling good for a change. Walking along down Shakedown Street, hear a little didgeridoo in the background. That, oh, it's my cell phone. Click. "Dad, I broke my nose." "No, you didn't. Not tonight." Right back in the pocket. No. I had just seen him. I mean, his nose wasn't broken. As much as I cared, it wasn't, and I was seeing paisleys and unicorns, so it really didn't matter. But my wife, being the motherly type, was like, you go into the show, I'll go home and look after them. Honey, you're on the ground on a planet far, far away. You aren't going anywhere. Oh, that kid. Man. Then what happened? Oh, wait. I have another son. Forgot about him for a minute. This one is more of the creative type, the left-handed one, the always naked one. He's just got the he's on mushrooms all the time. Gets in that shower, and I guess the drops hit him, and a light bulb goes off. Because I'll be laying on the couch, and all of a sudden, I can just sense moistness. There he is, standing next to me. Soap coming out of his hair, dripping wet, dry, unused towel thrown over his shoulder. And I'm like, I don't want to stop the creativeness. So I'm like, all right, Adam, what's up? He's like, Dad, I'm going to start a nonstop flight from LAX to Bali. 17 3/4 hours long, 8,265 miles. Going to be a game changer. So again, all right, I've never yelled at him for being naked in the living room like this. But one time I had to scold him. I ran into him in his room, but we were both naked this time. I was in there. I, though, had dried off, and there was no soap in my hair. He came around the corner, naked, soap, no towel this time, ran into me. And I said, Adam, you have got to rinse the soap out of your hair and dry off before coming out here. And he stepped back and said, Dad, when you're frying chicken, you have got to double batter it, like they serve on the flight from LAX to Bali. Oh, my God, those kids. You know, I guess we do have kind of a loose house. It's not totally without rules. The only rule I really had was you had to go surfing. And that follows by going to, well, I guess they're into sports, so I took them to sports bars. You know, we'd get to Barney's Beanery on a typical Saturday and Sunday for the morning games, get going in the afternoon, and I don't know, Saturday nights, you know, they serve food there. You're allowed to have kids there as long as you want. We got home at around 1 a.m. and walked in the door, and my wife was like, you guys smell like strippers. Before I could say anything, my youngest goes, oh, no. That was Ashley. And I was like, he's like, yeah, she paid me to shoot basketball. She spent the whole night with me. Well, where was your father? He was at the bar. But that wasn't a lesson learned night. He's good with women now. They learned how to work, lift, and get me home. That was a good night. Oh, and my wife, you know, she takes all this with a stride. Yeah, she's a really good woman. She is the most loving, the most caring person obsessed with the Manson murders you will ever meet. I know all about them. I know about stuff I don't want to know. Ciela Drive, you know, Wojciech Fryczowski? Yeah. Oh my God, you're the first one besides me. And nobody knows. That guy got fucked up. Yeah. Oh, man. Every night before we go to bed, she puts on one of these podcasts about true crime. Last night it was Hell's Angels. I woke up thinking I was pledging for the Sam Burdue chapter, you know, to the Hell's Angels. That was just a mess. Oh, my God. Where am I at in time?
You got another 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay. All right. Let me see what I can pull out here. As you can tell by all this and, you know, my hair, I come from a military upbringing. Shocker. I am 53 years old and still rebelling against that Navy captain for a dad. A Navy captain doesn't hear the word no much. He has 75 yes men on the ship, and when he would come home, his yes men consisted of moi. The phrase that would make me cringe growing up was, son, I need your help for a minute. One time it was, son, I need your help for a minute. We're going to hand dig this well. I was like, what? What is this, the Middle Ages? We have running water, hot and cold, I'll show you. But that kind of paid off because when I went off to college, they said, "What major do you want to be?" I said, "The one that doesn't have to hand dig a well." They're like, "Well, the geologist doesn't have to hand dig the well." And I said, "That's the major for me." Oh my God. Yeah, geology wasn't fun. I wish I had more fun stories about that, except I guess the reason why I chose it was all you do is walk through the woods, smoke grass, and then at the night, draw the maps, camp, and that's it. But you can't get really a career like that, so... drawing a blank. All right, I'm just going to wrap it up there because I'm drawing a blank. I'm Will Cable. See me at Will Cable, at W Cable, CABLK on all of them. All right. Thank you, man.
Let's give it up once again for Will Cable.
Yeah.
Woo. So, Jacob, speaking of movies, I just remembered I saw one recently. It was about this really highly trained security professional who has to protect his business from domestic terrorists, and because it turns out that his new partner was working for the domestic terrorists. Exciting movie. It's the best. It was called Paul Blart Mall Cop. Yeah, it's man, that's the great. I love that movie so much. Like, who here likes Paul Blart Mall Cop? Yeah, or like who? Wait, hold on. Yeah, okay. Who here hates it? Like who? No. All right. Good. Good. I'm glad because why did you hesitate about liking Paul Blart? Will. Yeah. The only one who said they liked Paul Blart.
Why did I hesitate?
Yes.
Because I wasn't listening.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, but I use Paul Blart as a litmus test whether or not I'm just gonna enjoy somebody's presence because, I was watching a podcast the other day and the two comedians in a podcast. They're like, oh yeah, they don't like Paul Blart this because it's a stupid movie. Like, yes, that's the point. It's a stupid movie because, as far as I understand it, Paul Blart was never a remake of some Italian post-war fancy film like Paolo Blarte, International Man of Commerce Security or something like that. As far as I know, Paul Blart has always been Kevin James, rides a Segway, and protects a mall. Knowing all of that, like, where do expectations come in? Like, that's the part I don't understand. I don't understand people that get upset. Like, that's a dumb movie. Yeah, that's the point, Anyways, I'm also kind of defensive about the Police Academy movies. Yeah, those are fun, but some people think that's stupid. But by any chances here, anyone know the name of the gay bar in the Police Academy movies? Okay. Also, by any chance, is anyone here a doctor? Perfect. Okay, because based on just my unscientific survey, if I were to have a heart attack on a plane, just based on the survey numbers that I've tracked, if I were to have a heart attack on a plane, I'm more likely to have someone. I'm more likely to die while having someone tell me the name of the gay bar from the Police Academy movies than I am being saved by a doctor. And I don't know, that's a equally hilarious and also just a horrifying thought. But I know I spoke greatly about this movie, Paul Blart, and I think you should check it out. And if you want to act just as good or almost as good as Kevin James does in that movie, because he's amazing, this next comedian might be able to help you do that. He is the director of the Film Actors Cafe, and he's running the ones and twos over here. His name is Aaron McIntyre.
Thank you. All right. Woo, yeah. Whoa. Whew.
I'm up here. I made it. I'm real happy. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to do some stuff off my phone. Since everybody else is doing it, why not? I was, a lot of people here know that I've been doing a lot of stuff on the Bible. I'm just diving deep. I'm diving deep, man. And I started looking at the Songs of Solomon. Anybody familiar with the Songs of Solomon? Woo, some pretty racy stuff, man. I'm going to read you some here. It's going to be a lot of fun here. Song of Solomon, and this is where it gets very confusing because they say they're very against homosexuality in the Bible. I don't know if you have known that, but actually they do. But listen to this one. Let him kiss me with the kisses of the mouth. What mouth is he talking about? For thy love is better than wine. Thy name is as ointment poured forth. I think we know what that is, right? Right? Huh? Maybe not. Maybe you're not old enough. Someday you may find out. Therefore do the virgins love thee. Man, they got fucking virgins. They got, cum. They got, all kinds of stuff in this thing. And draw me, we will run after thee. The king hath brought me into his chambers. We will be glad and rejoice in thee. In thee. I think that's the operative, right? In thee. And we will remember thy love more than wine. Oh, this guy's really into wine. Then this is the killer. The upright love thee. The upright? Huh? Have you ever seen a teenager in the, Yeah, that's right. I'm telling you, these people, they're very contradictory. They don't really, huh? Yeah, it's the Bible. Yeah, it's the Bible. I got more. I think that they should. I think they should bring back sex gargoyles. Don't you? Yeah. You know about the sex gargoyles? Really? Because I just fucking made it up, man. What are you? the sex gargoyles? I've seen gargoyles. You just ruined my joke, dude. You're not supposed to know what a fucking sex gargoyle is, man. But if you know them, then I gotta change the word. That's okay. If you could tell me, show me a sex gargoyle and all. I think the last time I was with a woman, I think that just kind of killed the whole. Just put a kibosh on the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Because she said, "I love you," and I said, "Good for you." That didn't go well. Anybody done 23andMe, Ancestry.com? Get your genes checked out, your ripped genes checked out. I did, and the thing is, you can find all kinds of stuff out. You can find out the food allergies. You can find out things that diseases maybe that you're susceptible to in your DNA and stuff. And I found out I have something, and it's a 40-year-old daughter. I just met her 3 years ago, and I was thinking for a while because of the Bible of selling her into slavery, but I don't think I have the right because she was raised by my best friend. So I don't think that, I didn't really have possession. But I do have a younger daughter, so she's still fair game. She makes really good friendship bracelets, and you could send her out on the street, make a little bit of cash. Have her out there selling friendship bracelets. Oh, friendship bracelets for just a few ohms, sir. The other thing about 23andMe is, they're going out of business. And I don't know what are they going to do with all that DNA, right? Have anybody seen the substance? I think that's where it's going. Nobody's seen the substance. Yeah, they're just going to be creating ways that, they can fuck with our DNA and make multiples of us that will, give birth out of our backs or something. I don't know. I do have a child. I only have one. Fucking thank God. But it is a girl. So... they're a little bit high strung. We have a little bit of difficulty in the teenage years, with slamming doors. And she actually broke the window in our bathroom door. It wasn't really a window, but you couldn't see in. But she was really a lot of fun. When she was growing up, she was like 3. I think 3 or 4, and we're driving. She's in the little booster seat in the back, we're driving down this road, and there's this woman who's driving really slow right in front of us, going really, really slow, and I'm like, okay, usually I just fucking lose it, just got really terrible road rage, But this time I'm like, no, she's in the car. I got to be good. I got to be good. And then all of a sudden from the back I hear, oh, Jesus, come on, lady. And that was my daughter. She got that from her mom. She didn't get it from me because I was always perfect around that. I saw this. But really, to have children, right? We really have children so that we can play games with them, right? Right? So we play games with them so that we can win, right? So we can win and make them feel bad, you know? I mean, that's why we have children, is to beat them, right? I don't mean that. Not with the way you're thinking. Something you were talking about, Alan, that I thought was interesting, but I can't remember what the fuck it was. But another military brat. Finally, I've come in here and done this thing a million times, and nobody's a military brat. How many bases?
I don't know.
You don't know? I know. It's a lot, right? You're just moving from place to place to place. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, every time I'd move, I'd want to be somebody new. You know, I'd decide I'm gonna be a new person when I get to this place. You know, I think that's what helped me with my acting career, because you know, I'd get to this new place and I'd be like, yeah, I'm not gonna be picked on anymore, man. I'm gonna be tough. I'm gonna be the big guy, you know. And I'd get to the town and I'd check out what they were wearing, and I'd get the coolest clothes, you know. And I'd come up to some girl, you know, and I go, hey, what's up? And she'd go, are you talking to me? And I'd go, yes, my lady. How art thou today? Beautiful day we're having, isn't it? And then I'd toddle off, you know, some fucking weird way. And yeah, same guy. Same guy everywhere I went. Really annoying. I saw a commercial where this guy is talking to his wife. His wife says, honey, I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and me and the kids were alone, and we had to sell the house, and we didn't have anywhere to live, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And the guy goes, oh, honey, that's a shame. I'm like, that's a shame? That's a fucking shit. That's a terrible, terrible dream, right? And then she goes, you know, maybe we should get life insurance. And he goes, oh, I know, but doesn't that take a long time? I mean, there's so many forms, and I wouldn't even know where to start. And I'm thinking, fucking Google it, dude. Just fucking go on your computer and Google it, and you'll find out all there is to know about life insurance. Anybody, we were talking about bands. Anybody a fan of Kiss? Kiss, right? Nobody? Nobody, really? Yeah, because I think the makeup just fucked it up, man. You know, can you see these guys like sitting around deciding that, oh, you know, I think what would set us apart is we'll just all wear these really cool costumes and put on makeup and shit. And then for the rest of their career, they've got to put on that makeup every fucking time. And I can see him sitting around, you know, and Gene Simmons going, yeah, I'm going to be like a kabuki guy with wild eyebrows and hair, and I'm going to stick my tongue out and get all the girls hot. And then, you know, Paul Stanley's out there. Is it Paul Stanley? Who was that? Let's see here. He was the Gene Simmons. Yeah. Paul Stanley, you know, with his little afro thing, you know, and then the star. I'm gonna go out with a white face and a star on my face. And then, you know, Ace Frehley is the star man. I'm gonna be a star man. And then the one who fucks it all up is Peter Criss. What the fuck is that? A kitty cat? He's like a little kitty cat. It just does not go with the aesthetic. I think he ruined the whole band with his fucking kitty cat face. That's all I'm saying. And I guess that's my time. So, thanks for sitting there and listening and smiling occasionally. I saw a couple of smiles, which was nice. Now bring up the fabulous Billy Ramirez.
Give it up for Aaron McIntyre, director of Film Actors Cafe. He does classes here every Tuesday, 7 p.m. and ask him. Tuesday, 7 p.m. Show up and act your ass off. Let's see. So, yeah, Kiss Kiss is lame. I'm sorry. Yeah. So, all right. Here's how KISS ties into the whole thing. So I recently had my first ever liquid death. You ever had a liquid death? It's it's a very glamorous kind of can and tough looking, like a knight designed it or something. But I was at a concert, and I'm getting to the point in my life where headlining bands and my bedtime aren't meshing, Yeah, so felt that I needed to get some energy. So I went to the concession stands and I got myself what I thought was an energy drink. I got myself a Liquid Death and I cracked it open. And it's just water. Liquid Death is just water. Can you believe that Liquid Death is literally the most crucial element to life? But they call it Liquid Death. And it was an upsetting experience for a number of reasons. Number one, because when I cracked open that can that looks like it's dressed up to go to the octagon to fight for the UFC heavyweight title, I cracked it open, I drank, and then I thought something would happen, but it was just water. It felt like the first time I heard of the music of the band KISS, because I was born in the 80s, and I saw KISS, and they looked like the scariest band you could imagine. He described them, like even Peter Criss, it was still a little scary, and then it's still like you say kitty cat, maybe he was a panther or something, I don't know, but then I heard him, I heard the music, and it's like basically like I want to rock you Saturday night, Detroit Rock City rules, it's like, okay, that's lame, that's dorky as hell, but and also, the other reason it upset me is because as someone who's worked in marketing, that I didn't come up with a brilliant idea of dressing water up like in an Ed Hardy t-shirt, to get dudes to drink water. That's a brilliant idea. It's like I saw these dudes just pouring and pounding back these Liquid Deaths, and, it's just it's insane. But also, it was annoying because a lot of these dudes just look like they'd be the ones that would just, would say like, oh, well, back in my day, I drank right out of the hose and it was hot for the first 38 minutes and it burned my lips off every time, but now they're drinking, fancy water, dressed up like it's going to a Godsmack concert, But I don't know. Times are tough, I don't want to cost Liquid Death any business, but times are tough. How about guys? They say the tagline to Liquid Death is murder your thirst. Well, what? Why don't you save yourself the $8 and go drink some hose water because your thirst is murdering you. Anyways, But speaking of refreshing, this next comedian's comedy is exactly the refreshing way you need to kick into the weekend. So please, let's give it up for our headliner tonight, Jacob McGregor.
God, I'm so anxious tonight. Thank you, Billy, for the warm intro. Refreshing. I'll take that. But yeah, Alan goes to me while Aaron's up, and he whispers, he goes, "You're headlining." I go, shit. That's real scary. I feel like we're on Lifeboat. What's that? It's like an old movie where you're, I feel like there's a lifeboat waiting for us with 3 spots, and we're all just... I'm just trying to raise the temperature here, But I've been sort of freaked out lately. What are all these jokes we're doing? Pretty existential. You tell one joke, one person likes it, but then maybe a person over there, they don't like it so much. So why tell the joke? You can't please everybody. You can't make everybody happy. Then I sort of spiral. Nothing matters. And I call my dad. Probably a wrong move. He's a doctor, and I say, "Dad, you saved all these patients' lives, but do you ever think about how they're going to die anyway?" And he goes, "Jacob, I think you're thinking a little too hard." But I'm a big Jew. We got a Jew, Alan. No, I'm outing you on the internet. This is there forever. Whoa. Yeah, no, not me. Yeah, but you think Easter weekend, Good Friday, it should be Jew City out here. Just all the Jews. This is our weekend, man. Chinese takeout and a comedy show. That's how we do Easter. But maybe I'm a little wound up. I just went home for Passover. Passover's the one where we suffered for, 1,000 years and then can't eat bread because that's how you celebrate. But my dad is a WASP. He has these very serious WASP eyes, and my mom is a Jewess. You ever, Jew people, Gentiles. Alan, bear with. Let's come on. Let's talk it out. You ever see someone who's afraid to say Jew? Like I say, I'm a Jew, and people go, whoa, you Jewish. I'm like, do you know how many syllables I save by just doing Jew? I mean, we have to refer to each other. He's a Jew, he's Jewish. I mean, you only got one life. I mean, you can't, the ish. No. But Passover, my dad doesn't know Hebrew because WASP, and our little prayer book for the dinner. What gets you hungry more than a pamphlet at the dinner table? But the pamphlet, the Haggadah, for my yids out there, it's in English and Hebrew, but there's no transliteration for the Hebrew. So we're singing the songs, and my dad's been, 20 years of this, 20 plus, he should get it by now. But I'm pointing at the Hebrew like he understands. It's kind of like letting your baby drive the car. It was a pretty good role reversal. But the 420 days coming up on Sunday, you smoked weed. Yeah, nodding yes. But I never smoked weed in my life. Never in my life. People tell me I look high all the time. I've never smoked. Feds, hello. Thank you, employers. I'll take my medal. But it's just the guilt trip. I can't handle the guilt trip. The Jewish guilt trip plus the WASP guilt trip. The one for my dad is just horrible. It's just, son, we need to have a discussion about your potential. Just straight Dead Poet Society. But I've never smoked weed. And I think weed, it's just, it's a Schedule I drug, which is obviously ridiculous. But I think it's just the bar for motivation, right? You need that motivation in America. You need that drive. What's impressive when you're high is way lower than when you're, like, I was in college and I saw kids who were, top of the class, like your son, man, varsity athlete, straight A's, total, stick up their ass. No offense to your son. I'm sure he's a great, on record. Will's son, he's watching. But, and they're so they're impressed by nothing. And I see them later at night, high out of their mind. And wow, they make purple Doritos. These are crazy, man. These purple Doritos, man, are just nuts. But I think the cure for all this motivational stuff is Instagram, right? Instagram for the world's problems. That's marketing. You got a problem? Instagram. We'll make it worse. But thank you. The anti-Instagram brigade in the house, AIB. But I've been watching a lot of motivational speaker videos, and they all sort of devolve into animals. Like it's a fitness bro, like don't skip leg day, stay hard, be hard, get hard. Are you hard? We're talking about erect for God, Aaron. Yeah. That was you earlier. Yeah, big time boner for God. But they all devolve into animals like, hey, brothers, I'm just thinking about today. Whether you're a lion or a gazelle, you got to wake up in the Sahara every morning and run. Stay strong. It's just a little ridiculous. What if they had grocery stores in the Sahara? Like a Ralph's, right? They wouldn't have to kill each other. Maybe they'd even kick it. The lions and gazelle would sit around a campfire, drink a few beers. Hey, man, I don't even like the taste of you, Mr. Gazelle. I'm just trying to eat you so the other lions don't think I'm soft. I'm just trying to stay hard. Instagram, Or maybe they do have a grocery store, and the lion gets to the checkout counter, and he's got his 2-for-1 deals. He's got his chicken breast. He's got a new recipe he's going to try. But then he forgets his promo code and the tariffs in the Sahara. And then he's thinking about the Saharan dream. He's got to go kill a gazelle now like his parents did. And it's just a mess, man. The economy is just horrible. Can't get a job anymore. You got to go kill a gazelle. But despite all the craziness out there and the anxiety, I did go on a date recently. Thank you. Somebody has to do it. Tough work. But I went on a date. It was going really well. And men out there, anyone listening out there, always bring Gatorade, okay? That was like a wave, okay? I don't want to Elon myself. That was close, man. Jew pass. I told you I was Jewish? Okay. Good. But you always got to bring Gatorade on your dates. It's a high-level move because we're at the beach. I'm a classy guy, conversation, etc. And she goes, "Hey, Jacob, I really have to pee. Is there a bathroom back at your place?" And then I say, "Oh, yeah, there's a bathroom back at my place. It's attached to my bedroom." Okay. Do I need to spell it out? All right, anyway, it was my first time under a Republican president. So that was pretty exciting. I'm a young guy. But anyone ever know they weren't good in bed? You know, surfer guy probably every time it's great, you know, to completion. Yeah, you're like on that different way. But yeah, okay, we'll talk. I'll learn from you, man. I'll take notes. But for anyone out there who hasn't, you know, made a woman, you know, ejaculate, come, whatever, you know, women, can you not say a woman ejaculates? Are we allowed to say that? Well, I mean, like squirting. They can squirt. I guess the orgasm. Let's just stick with orgasm. This is out there on the internet. Employers, I never smoked weed. I just want you to know that. And an orgasm, there's no shame in orgasms. You have shame in orgasms? Okay, we'll talk after. But, you know, I was good. I was really good that night. 5 out of 5 stars. But I blew it after. And we're lying there. We're having nice little pillow talk. And she says, "Oh, what's going on for you this week?" And I say, "Oh, yeah, like I got a show at the Fourth Wall. You know, I'm bringing some friends. You should come." And she says, "Oh, is there a link?" And I say, "Men, don't ever do this." I said, yeah, use the promo code Jacob for $5 off. Horrible move, the promo code. And she's leaving. You know, I felt kind of like the lion at the checkout counter. You know, he didn't have the promo code. I had the promo code. You know, everybody loses. But she's leaving, and I try to guilt trip her back. You know, "Oh, don't go. Come on. We'll go to dinner. Okay. Look, it's Passover coming up. We'll have gazelle. You know, it'll be a nice time. Come on." But, all right, I'm going to do some San Francisco jokes. I'm from San Francisco. These are not gay jokes. I love gay people and the LGBTQIA plus community. Got to hit all the letters for the marketing. But my city's gone soft, man. My city's just softer and softer. My baby cousin was in town for Passover. We go to the playground, and he's got an old school dad who forgets sunscreen. Because, did you wear sunscreen? You surfed. You never. Alan? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big time on the sunscreen. Nodding, yes. Good man. But and we were at the playground, and it's one of those real cool playgrounds. You know, my baby cousin is, you know, going on the slide with a girl who's 7. He's 5. He's into that cougar kind of deal. They held hands going down. He gets off. He says, "It meant nothing. It meant nothing." It's every weekend for me. But my uncle approaches this classic San Francisco mom, yoga pants, Lululemon, everything, the works. It's actually ethical Lululemon. Lululemon probably wasn't even chill. I don't even know what the brand was. And my uncle says, "Hey, really bad look for me, but, you know, I forgot sunscreen. Do you have any?" And she goes, "Oh, I do, but it's chemical." We have to have organic sunscreen now? I got to pay $1 more at the grocery store for organic avocados, and now I need organic sunscreen? I mean, oh my God, soft. The softest thing I saw was a friendship walk. Okay, we're walking in the park, beautiful day, perfect city. I mean, softer people deserve a worse city, I think, to just, oh my God, what a waste of a beautiful city on these soft people. And you hear this big speaker, right? And there are these people walking in the park. And there's this like white woman in yoga pants. It's an army. It's a military operation. Okay, and she's wooing, woo, as people walk across the finish line. Like they walked probably 2 miles. Okay, they walked 2 miles and she's wooing. That's the worst sound out there. And I'm trying to think: is this an AIDS walk? Is this a end cancer walk? Is this a research walk? Is this a Republicans against cancer research walk? Like, is there some kind of cause here? No, it's a friendship walk, okay? It's just friends. You can't go for a walk in the park. You need an Eventbrite. You need to buy a ticket, okay? You got to have a friendship walk to get out of bed in the morning. And we see one guy, you know, bombing, speed walking, speed walking, and he's cutting corners. He's taking the hypotenuse of a friendship walk. He has no time for, he has some time for friendship, but not that much time. I mean, come on. My uncle pulls him over and says, hey man, look, there's no shortcuts to friendship, okay? And on that note, it's been great being your headliner. This is going in my Instagram bio for sure. 2-time LASC headliner. I need to work out my stuff, but you guys have been pretty satisfactory plus. I had very low expectations, but as always, satisfactory plus. You can find me at jmachaha on Instagram. I'll be at Haha's Comedy Club on Sunday, trying to drag my friends out to a show. But it's 420 and Easter, so it might be tough. And I'm overstaying my welcome, bringing back Billy Ramirez. Going for the white guy to, as a white guy, you got to do.
Órale, cabrón. Yeah, let's give it up for Jacob McGregor. Before I wrap up, I have one important question. Where can I get those purple Doritos? Like, do they exist?
Yes, they do.
Really? I've been curious about the blue Takis, but not that curious about Smurf Dookie. Anyways, on that note, I've been Billy Ramirez, middle-aged muchacho on Instagram. You can find me also at billyramirez.com. So for all the comedians here, I'll name them all because they're still here. It's for Will Cable, for Alan Weiss, for Aaron McIntyre, and for Jacob McGregor. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on Monday for Manic Monday Open Mic at 7 p.m. Have a great weekend.